Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 44 of Fabrically Speaking Live. I'm your host, Clare Rowley, inventor of the creativefeet line of sewing machine products. And today we're going to talk about making presents, not necessarily making things to decorate for the holidays, but things like I made this and I ended up gifting it to my son, one in manly colors that I showed, was it last week? And my son sent me a text and he goes, "Thank you so much for the pillows," because I turned that lion into a bolster for his lower back. And he said it's great for his elbow, but not for his wrist, for his mouse. So I'm gonna have to come up with something for the mouse still, but he does love it for his elbow. Guess his elbow's a lot like his mother's. Hello, Tina from Dayton. And I know there was someone in here earlier. Shirley. Hi, Shirley. And Mary McClary. Oh, what a great name. And Jenica Morrow. Hi from Gilbert, Arizona. Neighbors. And from Kingman, Arizona. We got 3 Arizonans. No, we have 4 Arizonans in the house today. If any of you are waiting for orders, know that we are doing our best to keep up as everyone's ordering early for Christmas. And I was up to date on pressers as of yesterday. So if you've got an order for a presser on your mind, I wouldn't put it off. And I just want to let you know that, because I may have weird energy today, a pretty close friend of mine passed away last night from COVID. So she's my age, which is making it hit a little bit home. She did have other issues that made her challenge more difficult. So I'm a little bit down from that, and my eyes are burning. Not sure what that's about, but this way you know if I act a little weird, why I do. Today is November 18th, 2021. If you're watching this and it is not that date, you're watching the replay, because at the end of every show, well, it automatically gets saved to my channel, and this is the playlist. This would be found under our playlist, Fabrically Speaking Live. Okay. So eyes are burning. I'm not sure why that is. Do you guys, the rest of you Arizonans, is there a fire that I'm not aware of? Okay, so what can we give? I was like going to make a cell phone couch, but I was going to make it ahead of time, but there's just been way too many orders coming in, so I didn't get time to play with it. And this is a prototype that I made of it. My cell phone is being used for something right now, and I've really enjoyed it. It's not... Every time I put my phone on it, though, I go, man, I could do a better job. I could do a better job. So I don't know if I should do this week and design it as we go, or keep it simple, do something that is easier for me, and I'll work on this week. So next week we can do the couch. And I don't want it to be a rocking chair kind of couch like this is. But I like the idea of having it actually look like a couch, so that is the goal for that. What do you guys think? Do you think that'd be a fun gift to give to people? This is one of my mug rugs. I did a classier version of a mug rug, and it's upholstery fabrics. Has this little trim to hold your napkin in place. And we could do a little mug rug today and use different techniques to create it. This is a mug rug that you can gift to people for the holidays. That's already on my YouTube channel. 2 videos together create this particular project. So you can see that I wouldn't be able to do that today live. This is my snowman mug rug. Another thing you can make for people for Christmas are little cell phone purses. And this is a Christmas one that I plan to finish for myself for Christmas. I started it on one of the episodes, but I also have a full-length video showing you how to make cell phone purses like this for your loved ones for Christmas. Another surefire good gift is a bag. Different size bags. Now this one is fun because we can play with different trims and decorate the fabric and then sew it together. And this one, I designed it for makeup and put elastic strips in there so that you can put your makeup brushes in there and have them behave. I don't know if your makeup bag looks like mine, but mine never has the brushes in line. And this is too short, but the concept is there. And then I was thinking, well, I could show you a mug rug or a, what are they called? A bowl cozy, but I've already done it as well. All right, no more sympathy, you guys. Help me figure out what to show you. So I'm having coffee, and I'm having coffee on a coaster that I did last year for the holidays for you guys to make for Christmas. These are really fast and easy, but you could do them in different fabrics and give them as a gift as well. I also have some more show and tell stuff to bring out. I'm just so tired. I'm having coffee in the middle of the day. I may regret that tonight. I still plan to do this. I kind of showed you how I did it not that long ago. But I still have these fabrics, so I'm probably going to do that as a pre-recorded video, as I've mentioned before. But this is a fun thing to give as well for presents. Pillows. You guys are supposed to be voting. This is another video on my YouTube channel using holiday fabric. Same fabric that's in the pillow. So you could... It's getting blurry, isn't it? I think I'm confusing the camera. So if you have a bunch of fabric or holiday themed fabric, you could do a combination of these things. Another project that I've been wanting to do is for myself, because one of the things I think is if someone were to give me something as a gift, would I be happy with the gift? What would I be happy with? And I have the desire to do a bowl cozy concept for the pot for plants so that you can give someone a gift of a plant and have the pot be quilted or maybe beaded fringe hanging from it. And I do have this beaded fringe that I started once, and I was thinking about turning it into a gift bag. So you guys tell me what you think. Of course, you probably want to see me sew the beaded fringe on. But I was thinking this would make a nice bag to bring for the holidays for your champagne that you're bringing or wine. Hopefully you guys are going to get to participate in the holidays with your loved ones in person. For a second there, I thought the mic wasn't working, even though I can hear it in my ear. A plant bowl cozy. I think it would be a really good thing. Here's the thing. I have a lot of plants. It's something that I enjoy very much. And this is going to be my little Christmas tree this year. This is rosemary. And I may not decorate it, but I thought it was cute, shaped as a Christmas tree. And another thing I was thinking is it'd be kind of cool to have little Christmas tree skirts for your plants. Or if you have a little Christmas tree concept like I do, where you don't have the full-size tree where I do have Christmas tree skirts for. This is one that I started years and years, and I mean years ago. I think before Creative Feet. And I never finished it. But I was thinking about doing this for a small version. Do you guys like that idea? Of course, now we're talking about decorating for Christmas instead of gifting for Christmas. All right. More of you want the bowl cozy, plant cozy. All right, cool. Whoops. And this is a pillow I never filmed. I did this before, I think the first year of Creative Feet. It's very old. I'll show you from above. So this would be fun, and we don't have to do Christmas. We could do, but I really liked the fur being used instead of piping. And this was white. It's all dingy now. This is like 30, 31 years old. Pretty old. I was going to bring out the sewing machine. We're going to try it out with having one sewing machine, see how it goes. And I am going to be filming that. God, I'll probably have to work this weekend. Don't feel sorry for me. It's all my fault that I created this company. Okay, so we have to calculate what we need. It'd be pretty to have one like this, wouldn't it? But the plant is what makes it exciting in the house. I've never had open coffee on my table while filming before. Okay, so let's think about this. When you make and I should really say hello. Hello, Lorinda. Hi, Karen. Hi, Pat. Hello, everybody. So the ugly pot's inside, and this was the cute pot that they sold as a couple on something. It was a plant, one of my mini plants. And even that is just, it's plastic. So what we have to do is figure out how to make it stay on and not just fall down because of the taper in this. And I know that vinyl as a liner will give it that body, and it will keep it from, if water spills in there, from getting on the furniture to, maybe not completely waterproof, but a lot better than just fabric. Similar to the little organizer that I made where I used vinyl on the inside, and this one stays up nicely and the other one did not. We could also use some of the Timtex or firm fusible batting to add to the firmness of it. But before we do that, we want to play around with the fabric, make it exciting so it's not just fabric. You guys want to vote on that? Should I do a pieced, or should we add some flair to it, maybe applique? We want to do this so the person actually wants to display it. Because sometimes we may think they like what we're bringing, and they may go, ugh, can't wait till they leave so I can put it in the drawer. And wouldn't that be awful? I will try to be more inspired throughout this week. We just had a whole bunch of dealers order huge orders of our stabilizer. And I had to do some business, normal, like be the president of the company work this week, which takes time. This was from a photo shoot. And this is the fabric that I used on the fabric you see in the lead into the show. This is the actual stitching. See if you recognize the satin stitching that the Satinedge Foot did, and then the pearls on the edge. This is the small beads. And then I also filmed on this side the larger bead. And this is just a single layer of fabric. I love this fabric. And I really don't know why I didn't buy the whole bolt. So what have I got going on in my living room? I have a gray couch. Oh, another thing we could do is we could use upholstery fabric for this. Come on. I thought I was all organized. So this is a really, really luxurious fabric. It doesn't have to be all this, but we could use this for part of it. This is the same fabric I used for this, and this was the fabric I had on my chairs. It actually still is the fabric I have on my chairs. However, I'm going away from this, and I was going to sunflowers. But it has a really nice heavy body to it, all by itself. So we could do part in this and then part in another fabric, building up. What are you voting on? Hi, Amy. Well, everybody did already vote on what we're gonna do today. We're gonna design a cover for plants that's sewn and something you can give. So when you want to give someone a plant, you can give them the plant, but you can also make the cover for the pot so that it's pretty. And now I'm just trying to figure out, should I make it for my living room or should I just use the fabrics I have on hand? The plant is the beautiful thing, unless it's just kind of a plain plant like this. Maybe then it'd be nice to have a more decorative bottom on it. I really do think that this would be a good opportunity to use beaded fringe. Because while beaded fringe is really pretty, I've had trouble trying to figure out where I'd use it other than maybe on the front of a blouse. Because the beads are fragile and they can break off so easily. Do you guys like the idea of a beaded fringe pot, or you think that's too feminine? There's one concept. You like the beaded fringe? It's freet. A rope bowl. You know, the rope bowls are kind of dull to me. I do have the rope though, if we ever want to do that. By the way, both of my dogs are needing to have some minor surgery. And they will be wearing these when they leave the vet. This one's Chase's and this one's Tinkerbell's. This is a pattern that I was developing. And we kind of paused this. And I think it was my son got nervous about us being at risk of you guys using something alternatively. So what I'm thinking of is just calling it a costume so that we're not liable for anything. Because I just think it's so cute and fun. Would you guys like me to finish this pattern concept? Because honestly, I've already used it with both dogs in the past and it worked really well. I liked it because it could still get in and out of the doggy door, but they couldn't get to the injury that they had. So I really depend on you guys to vote, participate. So beaded fringe combined with a little quilting maybe? They both have dental. I remember when dental work on the dog was not very much. Now it's, my goodness. I do have a lot of this fabric already, and I like it. I think it would be pretty. But I have a beaded fringe that I already pulled out in case you guys like the idea. Whoops, something fell. I've been a bit clumsy today. And I really wish that I could help you guys get this one. I think this is so pretty. They're like little flowers. I really don't know where I got it. And I think that's all I had was enough for that. So that's why once I sewed that on for an ad, or I think I filmed this. I really kind of like that, how simple that is. But maybe the other way would have been better. To have the green. Isn't it just, I think it's pretty. I think we have a winner. Beaded fringe is going to tempt your kitties. Oh my gosh, I shared something that was so funny. This is kind of a small pot for such a big bead. Oh well, I'm not going to overthink it. It's going to be fun. That's all that matters. Right? Sewing is supposed to be fun. Now, the pot's got to hold those beads up and not let them weigh down the entire thing. I'm going to need to get a piece of my... I'm just going to go get it really quick. I need a larger width of my clear cover-up, which is the vinyl that we sell in rolls. We use it for embroidery, but I also use it for sewing. And I'm going to get rid of this coffee. Now that I have music to leave you with, I don't feel as bad leaving you for just a minute. Won't take me too long. I will see you in a moment. certainly don't need a roll this big, but this is what we cut down from these bigger logs down to smaller rolls for you, but we sold out of them already done, so I'm going to cut a piece off of this to use. You should see the roll size that we get before we get it to this size. So this would be an 18-inch width. I'm not going to need that much, but I got to make it manageable. I saw the cutest video, since we're talking a little bit about cats. These people, I think in Australia, hung their Christmas tree from the ceiling. I'm just giggling because you should search it on YouTube. But they hung the Christmas tree from the ceiling, and they only hung part of it. So they had some Christmas tree that the cats couldn't get into. And the cats jump and get a hold of it, and they were like swinging through the air. It was hilarious. I've seen a lot of really funny things that people have done. I'm sure you have as well. One is this person put their bed in the tree. Like, may as well just put it in there, because that's where they'll be. Okay, so we've got to do some measurements. Did you guys enjoy last week's session with the double needle work? And did any of you play around with the double needle? Remember, you have to talk to me or I'm going to be quiet. I also had this idea of using the Dresden plate to make a pot holder. I think it would be a cute pot holder. What do you guys think? It's kind of like half a petal, maybe a little bit more. Ooh, could use this to make like a baseball mitt pot holder for guys in your life. That'd be fun. The creative process is my favorite thing. I just don't usually do it live with you guys. Well, now I do. Hi, Tinkerbell. Okay, I think I've mentioned all the things I wanted to mention. Now I have a spot for my quilt that I'm making, and I'm not going to move it from there so that it doesn't get buried, so I don't forget to make it. All right, so we don't need very much of this. Be fun to, I always want a quilt, you know, I never thought I'd say those words, by the way. For those of you who think I've always been good at free motion, I haven't. Maybe one day this will be made into something. And I've decided, because I do have this fabric in my living room, and I am going to be painting a sunflower on one of these, or appliquing a sunflower on this for my bar stools that currently have this upholstery fabric on it. Okay, I shouldn't have said only guys. I'm just always trying to think of things to make for guys, because I feel like us girls we just love stuff more. I don't know. Maybe I just don't have enough guys in my life. Although my dad and my brother and my son, they love their bowl cozies, and I didn't make those out of boyish fabrics. And I'm one of those girls, in case you didn't notice. So I'm going to take this and set it aside. Do I have something to put it on? It's almost like we have a little bit of a Christmas tree. So on this, Oh my goodness, what a day. Sorry about that. Making a t-shirt quilt. Those can be very time consuming and emotional. So you like the pot holder idea, Karen? Should I do a baseball mitt one? I don't know. Trying to think of all the different kind of mitts that it could be. Finally found a source to work with for our stick and rinse tape, you guys. And our stick and tear stabilizer is going to be shipping at the end of December. We haven't sold out completely of all the sizes, but we're getting there, so that's still a month away. The sound of the music comes from it being produced. It's not a video like the other one, like the lead in and the lead out of the video for the show. I created a video. This is an actual just audio version, or some music I got from a service that I use called, what was it called? Epidemic Sound. And I couldn't control the volume on it using the software. I really need to create a video for it, and then I can't dub it. I need to figure out how to do that. So I'm hope it didn't scare you guys when the music came on. It's never my desire to scare you guys. Yeah, I'm trying to think of all the different things we could do now, sports-wise. I never really played around with the sports aspect. I also think this is a surefire gift for anyone, because everybody needs something to put down on a table every now and then. And if you do it in different themes, we could do a sports theme for, what do they call those platters where people put a bunch of charcuterie? They put a bunch of food out. It'd be fun to create something for that. Oh, I've always had an idea of making a little quilt for little boys and girls to play Hot Wheels on. I could maybe design that this week. I scared your dog, sorry. By the way, we got all our quilt highlights back in stock. This has been moving quickly, and I'm like, should I use some of this today? It's kind of, maybe the beads are enough for flash. Okay, so this fabric goes really nice. But it's just, I think, a little too boring to have only, so this is what we're building. Don't have to have the beads all the way to the top. They could be down lower. And I could build elastic into the top to hold it on, or have it come, better yet, I think, is to have it come up and over the top so that when you put the other pot inside, it kind of holds it in. But is it even feasible to do that? There's more than one way to sew these beads. One way is to use it as a decoration, having the ribbon, and the other is a technique that I created that lets you sew the beads inside of the fabric where you don't see the ribbon. Oh, I just love this. Okay. So now I need a complementary fabric that is close to it in color, but doesn't have to be identical to it. Would it look a little corny to mix something like that with this, with that? This is the challenge that we have when we sew, isn't it? We got sequins laying around and balls of yarn. Here's a ball for your kitties, you guys. It's not pretty when you can't see all of it. There we go. Stuff is all connected to. I was going to have that sewing machine on the table today for you. All right, I know I don't need a gigantic piece of this. I'm going to measure around the top of this. Are you talking about sewing the beads into the fabric? Did I say something I couldn't do something? I haven't ran into anything I couldn't do, but some things I have had to sew by hand, so. Tape. Oh, there's plant matter coming out of here. Where are my big scissors? I think I remember carrying them into the other room. These are my upholstery scissors. It is appropriate. This is upholstery fabric. And when you look at the backside of upholstery fabric, it's going to have, it has a different looks to it. This is a woven upholstery fabric. And then they have fabric that if you were to run your scissors like that, a little powder would come off. That is paste backed. And when you have a paste back upholstery fabric, you need to use leather needles. But because this is woven, I should be able to be fine with universal needles. I just need a little bit longer piece. I hate having you guys see me fumble. I should be used to it by now. All right, where's that piece? It's not regular fabric. I could just go and tear it. Gotta use scissors. I don't want to cut too long, and because I need to use this for my bar stools. It's just one of the most beautiful fabric. It's like a sueded velveteen kind of feel to it. There we go. And I know you guys wanted to see me do the sunflower stuff for my house, but having the show every week does take time from me. In fact, I'm thinking about taking extra time in December off from the show. So that I can release some recorded videos. And I may just figure out how to just play a video so I'm still on, but I'm not live that day. Okay, that's just... I still have plenty, but I'm probably going to make some more couch pillows. Oh, goodness. Doesn't look too bad. Good morning, everybody. No, it's not morning. Not unless you're in Australia. You guys aren't talking. What's on your sewing table, you guys? Man, you should smell this. It's super fragrant. And rosemary is supposed to be really good for your well-being, for your emotions. Oh, wrong thing. That's why I put this down. Because I'm not making it for that, I'm making it for this. So the whitest part, so it's 21 inches round. I need to allow for probably a 3/8 inch seam allowance for that. And we're going to have to come down at an angle. You got dog collars on your sewing table? Are you making the collar or embroidering the collar? I'd love to see that. You should share it in this school. All right, what do we got here? I'm just going to go 22 inches. I got a whole inch, extra inch. Am I right? Did I say it right? I think I measured 21. So if I go to 22, this is when I go, you know what? I'm going to add another inch just for good measure. And if I have 23 inches. Okay, I cut it long enough. Now I need to figure out how long I need it. And I'm going to make a circle bottom on it because it would be really difficult to form it any other way. So this will be a pieced item, unlike the bowl cozies where it's a square and you kind of carve into it with your stitching. And the bottom is 4.5 inches. Isn't this pretty? I would use this, but it's the bottom. I cut these a while ago and I love this combination. Don't you guys love that? I love that. I don't know what to do with it. And I did it for this, but when this was made, these were not mathematically correct. So this is fabric that's pretty much been sitting, and I can't go all the way around and make it into a full Dresden plate, which is why these have just been sitting here, but I absolutely love the fabrics that I used for this. And this is when I was helping to develop the Dresden plate die for the Crafter's Edge company. They had a die, I cut these out, I went to sew it, and it didn't work. So then they made it right, and now they sell a perfect one. So I am going to use this fabric as the bottom, because why not? I need a 4-inch circle. This would be a good time to use the cutter or the die cutting machine, because I'd get a perfect circle without having to work at it. The next thing we need is how long, and I really want to make it have a flap that goes in. So 5.5 inches before the fold. Caterpillar is currently out of the Ultra. However, they got notice that it is en route to them. So there's still a chance to get these for Christmas. Should any of you have this on your Christmas list? And we've been helping spouses order and loved ones order for people, so you can have them call for help. Okay, perfect. Straight for the top. And I said 5.5 inches, right? 5.5 inches, but I'm going to take it to 8 inches. Use that. So if I go to 8 inches, I'm going to go to 9 inches. Do any of you work like that? Do you know the measurement and then add a couple inches just in case? I was watching a video today of a girl cutting cones of overlock thread, and I was praying for her, even though it was recorded. She was holding the cone of thread in one hand and a knife that was sharp enough to cut carpet in her other hand, and just cutting down like that. And it was like her wrist was right there. It was like watching a psychological thriller movie for the sewing industry. See if I can't make this using this. Oh yeah, they could be turkey feathers, huh? Ooh, should I make something? Well, Thanksgiving's too soon. All right, what do I need? A pen. This can certainly be a Sharpie marker. I'll tell you what, Ellen, when you guys aren't here watching and I'm not live and know that you could be bored if I take too long to do anything, I'm more meticulous than this. This looks like it's going to add a 1/4 inch all the way around. But there is a certain amount of freedom in not caring as much, especially in the design phase. So I design things live and then I go in and I refine it in the computer so you guys can do it right the first time. Did any of you make the little bolster? Wherever it is. Maybe I'll use that technique for this. I want to do keychains too. I got some beads and I got keychain things, and I was thinking about designing something in between and using like the bead at the end and then us making that. Or we can use it as a book. What do they call? Bookmarks? I can't remember why I'm in here. Oh yeah, Sharpie. Pays to talk to yourself. Much easier. There's some danger. I have written on my pad before and been so frustrated with that. I used nail polish remover to get it off, and I never did get it fully off. This may not be. Yeah, there it is. See, so you never want to draw with a Sharpie marker on top of your mat without being careful. So I know that this is bigger than the bottom, but see how the bottom has this little edge? But I used the marker out on this edge, so it should be just about, it should come in to a 1/4 inch. I'm still going to cut just a little bit outside the line. Always giving myself a little bit of oops room. If you guys like this idea, I will write it in a pattern format for you. Got to give me a thumbs up or I'm not going to make a pattern. You got to let me know you want a pattern. I know some of you are on the TV and you can't really comment. Those of you lurking in the background, welcome to the show. I'm going to line this so that and I could make it pretty, but it's going to be inside of the pot. So nobody's going to care. It's an outside of a pot. This is going to be nice on the furniture, nice and soft instead of rough like a pot. Make feathers out of denim. I love it. You guys keep coming up with stuff for me to do. All right? Because, I'm at 44 for this year. I've had to do most of those on my own. Hi, Pacola. See, I knew some of you were hiding there, not saying hi yet. I don't know if this is marking it well enough. It is. Maybe not. I just don't want to get any Sharpie marker on my pad. I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be careless. Oh, look, I can see it now. So this vinyl that we offer has a really interesting texture to it. It doesn't stick. Doesn't stick at all on your fingers, and that means the needle also does not have to deal with it sticking to it like you would have on some of the other vinyls that you can purchase in stores. It's designed for embroidery as a topper that's permanent on embroidering on towels and velvet. And anytime you want your embroidery to lift up above the surface of the fabric and you don't, that does not look circular. And you don't want, after it's washed, for the fabric to pop up through the stitch. All right. This is going to be boring. I'm just going to cut around this. So you want to measure the outside. This is so big now. This is why we need lots of scissors. If you're thinking about what you want people to get you for Christmas, don't forget about these scissors. They're so nice. And we have them. I still don't know. I still haven't been able to find my little ones. I got really excited because I found a pair of scissors. The handles were sticking out from under my lamp on my couch, and it wasn't these. It was another pair of scissors that I lost before. And I got myself an Amazon Fire Cube for watching TV. I keep losing the remote. I think they made it itty bitty so that you could lose it real easy, because they also sell some devices that you can stick on little things that you lose often, and I'm leaning toward getting it. So you can just say, "Hey Alexa, where is my remote?" and it'll beep at you where it is. They don't even have lights on it, so it doesn't glow. Do any of you have any of those to help you find things? Imagine how much time it would have saved if I had that on my glasses. All these episodes where I lost them. Would this be a good opportunity for me to use the liquid-based glue to hold these two pieces together? I can't remember how it works on vinyl, so I'm going to give it a go and see if it works. Now I want to get some denim out and have some fun with it. So what are you going to do with the denim when you have feathers? What do you want to do with those feathers, Robin? Decorate something? There's some batting fuzz on the end. Are you guys surprised? No. So I am going to go make an X. I think it does work. I can't remember, though. We used this vinyl last Christmas to make covers for bowls, which is a great gift, by the way. It is so that you can cover, like you got potato chips out for a party. I got to find where I put that. I used it last year. And I did a Christmas version of it, but I could actually make one with not Christmas. And the reason I slide my finger across this is because there's water in this. Let's see, can I line it up so that it's both are not straight? Well, look at that. It is holding together. I don't know how well it will hold together all the way through, but I do know this, where this sticking out, it's definitely not going to be as easy to sew a straight stitch or an accurate seam allowance if I don't trim them to the same size. And this is the bottom of a pot. I will give you guys a real circle in the pattern. So there's our bottom, and this is nice and slippery and velvety like. So when the pot is slid around on the furniture, it will be nice for your furniture. I'm going to take a sip of my vegetables and fruits that I got from, I use Dr. Gundry stuff. So he has a new one that's got orange in it. This is my orange and my MCT. It's just really healthy stuff. And I got my dad on Dr. Gundry stuff, and he's like, I feel 10 years younger, and he looks a lot younger. He's taller. He got taller from eating better. It's quite something. I haven't even touched my batting today. I shouldn't have batting fuzz on my nose. So now we have to figure out the angle. And how do you think we're going to do that? Let's see. We want to go to the top. Put them on a handbag like a tassel. I think I have some denim laying around. If we weren't doing beads right now, I'd switch to a denim. No, gotta stick with what I decided. So we're gonna line this as well. I didn't choose a complementary fabric yet for this. I'm going to base it on these beads. I'm not a big pink person. It's kind of like a champagne brown. We got some crimson color in there. It looks greener on the screen than it does in person. It's more of a brown. So I am looking on my shelf, hoping there's something right here. Is it too close to this? Gives it a little bit of a difference. I kind of like to show you guys the complexity of sewing it into the fabric so that you don't see the ribbon at all. So you learn more today. Purple is kind of complementary. That is kind of a purple there. I know the purple lovers in the room are going, yeah, purple. What is that same purple? Hi, Tinkerbell. Oh, now I want to make a quilt out of these. What do you think? Even though this is a print, I think it is a good complementary fabric to that. Maybe the 3. Does that detract from it, or... Sorry about clearing my throat. I don't know what's going on with me right now. I usually mute myself so you don't have to hear me do things like that. I like the brown. I know the purple was pretty, but I do have some things. It is supposed to be feng shui. They do talk about using purple and yellow in your living room. I can't remember the benefit of it. Maybe peaceful or peace and harmony. I don't know. But I do have some that I use in my living room like this. So I'm not totally purple adverse. I think I just went too into the purple for too long, and I'm trying to introduce other colors into my life. You would change the beading? I don't know if it shows up well in that camera. The whole point of this lesson is to teach you how to make a cover for your plant, right? Throwing in the beads is because I've been trying to figure out a use for them. And then it's like, this will be an accent. This will be in a different area. So we'll have a strip going around. Maybe I'm doing too much. Am I doing too much, you guys, as usual? Should I stop with the beads? Should I not do the beads? I can hear some of you going, no, do the beads. I'm just going to do the beads and then maybe not. Do I have more beads? Because it's like, I really don't like that look for my living room, and I'm going to want this, but I can make another one for me. This is about teaching. All right. This could be above it, and then the beads dangle below it, so it doesn't take away from it. I'm going to kind of figure this out. I think it looks pretty classy. I could see this being very special for some people in your life that like sparkly things. Wouldn't that be, I think that, I mean, look at that as a bag. Be a nice bag. Should I just change? Let's not do this. Let's make a bag. I like it. Okay, I'm going to do that. So the top is going to be this, and then the bottom is going to be that. kind of like a Christmas stocking has the top. And I'm going to fuse some fusible fabric to give it the same weight as the upholstery fabric so that it can handle holding all of that up, which means I have to iron. I don't like ironing. All right, let's figure out the angle. This is not something I'm good at, by the way. We'll see how this goes. So if I have a point, you can just sit still. Point there, point there. I know there's math in this, and it would be a certain angle, a degree. I think we all agree now on that. This looks like the right angle right here. Maybe a little dramatic, maybe not. Everything makes more sense when it's just laying there. That did not make any sense, Claire. It's kind of like I have to do it differently. This is when muslin fabric comes into play. Put some of this stuff away. Clear my area. Trying to think this through. I have designed lots of three-dimensional things in my career. Darts. Yes. Could just do darts and not worry about it. But if I do that, what will happen? I was like, where'd that other fabric go? Here it is. Oh, I just love this fabric. I was thinking about a scarf for one of the gifts to teach you guys how to make. I've been not showing a technique that I did with the Octi-Hoops because we haven't been able to get stick and rinse. So I'm going to have to wait still on that one. All right, here I'm going to be loose with my cutting. I just snipped. This is one of those times when I bought like 4 or 5 yards, so I have plenty of this. This is how you design patterns, you guys. I would like to say that I just sit there on my computer and I just draw something and make it. Sometimes I do. But other times it's just sitting here cutting the shape I think I need, and if it doesn't fit right, I cut into it until it does. Snip. It reminds me of being at a show, except for at shows I used to just throw things at the crowd. I would sew something and then go, there. And sometimes the person I threw it at wasn't paying attention. Keep in mind they were really lightweight pieces of fabric, but it would like hit them in the face and they're like, what was that? I still want to do something with this. And this may be how I would handle those denim feathers. Ooh. We could do a keychain with denim feathers. Gosh, this fabric goes really nice with that. These colors make me feel like I'm home. Oh, I have another bead. And if you're wondering where to get the beaded French, it is in the stores. You just got to look with new eyes because you can sew it on. This is taped on here pretty good, but I'm going to show you how pretty this bead is. This is so pretty, I don't want to use it on a pot. The bead's also really, really long, so help me come up with an idea of a project. Look at how big that is. It's really not that big. It's a lot smaller than maybe on this camera you can see. That one's magnified or brought in. These beads are, to help you get an idea, they're about 2.5 inches long. And these are two inches long, so it's a little bit longer, but these I think are too pretty. I don't know. Gosh, it'd be pretty. They both would go. I think I like how this one kind of disappears. Okie dokie. All these decisions to make. Wheesh. You want to know this fabric? Oh boy. Come on, give us something on the selvage. I know I bought it at Joann's. They have nothing on the selvage, you guys. That's so rude. Why wouldn't they do that? I'll have to look for it for you. And a lot of the times I'm on the road, and so I buy at Joann's Fabric because there's Joann's Fabrics on the road. Easy to find, open late. Okay. All right, I think I'm going to do the dart concept. Problem is we're going to be doing darts with an upholstery weight fabric. This is going to be the top. It's going to be a double layer. I'll try to find it, I promise. And I usually post those things in the school. Sometimes I forget to post it on the video because there's just so much to do. I think this will be a nice gift, don't you? It'd be a nice present for me. I don't think my sister would appreciate this. My daughter's house isn't finished being built yet, so I'm not allowed to make her anything right now. I pulled out her sewing machine so that I could service it because she's coming to stay during the winter in our area. She lives in Colorado. So I'm going to try to teach her how to use her sewing machine this winter because her house will be finished in the spring, and then she'll be ready to sew. I'm so excited. Okay, I need this to be firm, and I need it to be sticky against the pot. So I'm going to fuse this together, right sides together, to make it thicker. Just get the iron. And in this case, I do use steam cotton setting. This is our fuse and fuse stabilizer that I'm going to use. I may as well just cut these beads off right now. I know I made it bigger than I need, but I got too much clutter. I added some dolls to the set. We have our Brat doll, and she's wearing an evening gown. And then you can see Barbie up by the butterfly up there. These are samples that were hiding in drawers. Next week, though, I'm going to have the set be all Christmassy. Just babbling while the iron gets hot. I hope I had cut this the right length. I cut it a little short. That's all right, I got a lot. Are you guys having a nice time? Look what I found. I'm hot today, and I didn't turn the heater on at all. Because I usually get warm during filming, but Tinkerbell usually, I feel like she's got to be cold because she's so little. So the first thing I'm going to do is make these two fabrics kind of one, but I can't because I got to sew them together with this in the seam. I got to think it through. This could actually be the one that the beads go on. It's all folded and nice. I don't have to worry about it fraying. I don't know if I have enough fuse and fuse in here. A long enough piece. I got lots of little. I think I got it. So if I only do one layer of fusing, then it's thinner. If I do the whole piece of fabric has the fusing on it, and then I fold it, and then I iron it, now we have 2 layers of fuse and fuse in there, and that will add more body to the fabric. And this is not about this one right now. Is this the big one? Well, we'll see how well that... This roll was a bad roll. So if anything goes wrong, I always get the scraps. Do you guys remember how to tell which side is right and which side is wrong on batik? Has the crease line showing me that this is the right side of the fabric. That means this is the selvage over here, which under careful analysis, there's definitely no printing saying what this is. So that means I would stretch this direction, going across the grain. But I already know because I have the crease. So if you don't uniron or iron your crease away, you can use that as a surefire way of knowing which side's right and which side's wrong. This is a little wider than I need. So I'm going to roll it up. I wish I knew what I said that made you say that, Mims. I'm starting to feel more awake, thank goodness. I was like, I don't even know if I can teach them today. I went way wide on this fabric. I almost canceled on you guys. Mostly because I was yawning non-stop. I couldn't stop yawning. It's very strange. I think I got too much sleep last night. Do any of you feel like that when you get too much sleep? You get like, I should never have gotten that much sleep because now all I want, my body wants to go back to bed. No iron. I do not want steam. I said steam. I meant no steam. Because it's paper, and paper is a solid, and the steam can shoot out and burn your hand as you're ironing. But I still do want the cotton setting. You've seen it at Joann's? I think it is like an ongoing fabric there. I bought it years and years ago, and then I wanted to make the scarf on the set or live with you guys or teach it because I made a scarf and it's really cool. I'm trying to think of where it is so I could show you. So it's a scarf that I designed that secures to your belt. It's got yarn, big yarn fluffs on the bottoms. You might have seen it at the show, some of you. And it has a pocket built into it to warm, like hands warmer. And it has another pocket to put your wallet in. And the reason it secures to your belt is so that your wallet won't make the scarf fall off your body. And it's really long. It's a very dramatic, very dramatic. Younger girls would really like it. Or guys. I mean, honestly, it's just really cool. I might step away and I think I know where it is. So I can bring it. Or just save it for the day I show it. But it has this yarn that looks like knitting on the shoulder that I did with the Octi-Hoops without knitting. And that, we really need the stick and rinse for that. It is just a really beautiful fabric, isn't it? I like how it kind of goes with any season too. It has some subtle greens running through it that you can't see, and it goes all the way to cream color to dark brown and dark green. It has like forest green in it. This is when I go, I should probably carry fabric, but there's so many people carrying fabric. Now I have to wait for it to cool. No one can get too much sleep. I was designing in my sleep, and that happens. I designed 2 of my products in my, well, maybe more than 2. The Pearls and Piping Foot was an all-night dream. And the thread dispenser was another dream. And I woke up exhausted from both of those because, in essence, I made it in my sleep, and then I made it in real life. Okay, so now we peel off the release liner. And this is made easier by kind of scoring it a little bit with one of your dull needles. better to do that to come in than to start on the end and pull in, because sometimes it can come loose. It's still a little warm. Could stick it in the refrigerator for a minute before peeling. Notice that I'm peeling it back. I think I'm gonna like this thing. This can be used as a pressing sheet to press things with because it is designed for fusibles. It's up to you if you throw the paper away or save it. I usually save the piece that I peel off while I'm doing that project in case I need to use it. Now I'm going to fold it in half. And because I cut it big, and the inside's going to go in the pot, and I have the flexibility of not really worrying too much about it being absolutely folded perfect. You know, we cheat whenever we can. Now I want the steam. And I start in the middle, do one press, and then come down here and do the end. I'm going to sneeze. I got to mute. I saved your ears, you guys. I saved all your cats and dogs from running out of the room in fear of what the heck was that? I think another one's coming. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the rosemary. I gotta sneeze again. Oh my goodness. Maybe not. Maybe it is the rosemary. I don't know, but our family, we don't sneeze like, achoo. A whole house full of us sneezing. It would scare the neighbors. Especially my sister Kathy. She's got the loudest sneeze. My dad's pretty good though, too. Do you guys sneeze quiet or do you sneeze loud? So now this has a lot more body. Oh, there it is. I'm like, where'd the other fabric go? And I'm overlapping this fabric on top of that. This I cut considerably bigger, so you can see. And so this is the end that's gonna sew to the circle. So all that is just like a lot more fabric, which I did that on purpose because I can always cut some of the bottom off if I need to. And I want a good amount of an overlap. It's more forgiving. I have an inch overlap. And I gotta lay these beads down there now. I know I'm not allergic to rosemary, but boy. This ribbon is really old. It looks like it's actually begun to rot. Begun to rot. I don't think that's proper grammar. So it's going to go underneath this fabric. So should I pin it? try to get it all perfect in there? Or should I do it a better way? Faster, easier, more accurate? Using the pearls and piping foot. If you didn't already guess, I would be using the pearls and piping foot for that. Now all the scissors I brought out in front of the machine. Turn the iron off before it beeps at me. Another thing that I'm going to use is a piece of cording, some rat tail cording. And I put it all away. Did I? I think I did. Such a big piece. If you guys can't get any of this, let me know. I had a drawer open that was making it really hard to do that. For this, I recommend the 1/8 inch, which they may sell it as a 2.5 millimeter. Where's the size? They don't put the size on there. It's a good idea to bring a little measuring tape with you when you go into the store, and you can lay it over the measuring tape to see how big it is. This comes in 2 sizes, 2 diameters, and we want the full diameter or the largest diameter because we're not going to be able to see it when we sew with it. What is this thread doing? Oh, I was using a bobbin. That double needlework I was doing on the last episode. This machine has been slid all over the table since last week. So the machine was on the thread. We're almost to the sewing part. Don't let me forget to line this with vinyl, you guys. My brain is not full functioning today. So much thread to wind. I don't like wasting thread. I like seeing how you guys are chatting. I can't keep up with the chat today. I'm not going to sneeze without... I will never intentionally just let it go live. These videos last forever. And it's not always you guys watching. Sometimes people can be very mean in their comments. La la da 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 da. Oh, come on. All right, there we go. Based on what we're using this for and the fact that it can get wet, I would use a polyester thread. The heavier the better, 40 weight polyester. I can use a complementary color thread so that it will add interest to this. And I will. So which color should I pull? I kind of feel like a dark purple. Even though it doesn't look like there's purple in this. It's just going to be a straight stitch going along this edge. And you won't be able to see the ribbon. So it kind of brings out the almost purple bead right here. I think we have a winner. I don't need to use the same color thread in the bobbin because, well, you're not going to see the back side of this. So I'll just use one of the bobbins that I already have wound. But I am going to go with a darker thread in the bobbin than what's in here. This is one of the deco bobs. It's an 80 weight bobbin thread. I want to use 40 weight in the needle and the bobbin. just so happens that is 40 weight, but I don't know. Maybe I should just use black or a charcoal. And I can kind of tell by looking at a thread or feeling it that that's not 40. I have a lot of Invisifil bobbins because I love using it for quilting. This is what I'm doing, looking in my little bobbin boxes. There's a nice gray. All right. Another thing we could do is really, really pop up that stitch using the denim, the jeans thread. Oh, I can't not do that. I have to do that, right? It like almost is the same thing. And this is denim thread, so it's going to be really thick. No, Mims, you can... I don't know if you're new to the group, to the show or not. But I should talk about it anyway. There are times when you want to match your needle and your bobbin thread. There's times when you want a lighter bobbin thread than in the top. There's times when you want a stretchy bobbin thread in the bottom. And in this case, that would be a good idea for me to use the lingerie thread in the bobbin because this thread is so thick on top that it's gonna try to pull up the bobbin thread. And lingerie bobbin thread is stretchy, so when it goes through the tension, it stretches and increases the bobbin tension without you having to use a screwdriver. So I am going to use the denim thread because I just think it's a great opportunity to use it. And it's called Jean Stitch. It is at creativefeet.com on the threads link. And I did use it recently. So when I do the feathers, the denim feathers, I'm going to use this thread. And we have it in variegated too, which would be kind of cool on the blue Jane. But not for this. I'll let you see it though. So it's Jean Stitch. And it is like 4 times thicker than 40 weight, which would make it like 20 weight. But they don't rate it the same way. They rate this as a tex thread, which is totally different. So if I can explain a tex thread, they weight it on, is a 40 weight times 4. So they twist 40 weight thread with another 40 weight thread with another 40 weight thread, and they kind of bring it all together for one really thick strand. So that's why the number on that thread will say 40, but it really isn't 40 weight when you go to our site. It might confuse you because you're getting so educated on your thread sizes watching the show. But just know that that is the reality of it. And I am going to use the lingerie thread in the bobbin, which I already have bobbins wound of it, because it is the answer to many different sewing techniques where your bobbin thread pops up to the top. And it's shiny, and it's thin as well. So it takes up less space on the fabric, allowing for a thicker thread to take up more space. It kind of gets a little smaller so the thicker thread can present itself better. If you were to use a really thin thread like the Invisifil, which I use in quilting, but on top I'm generally using not such a thick thread, although I did quilt with this Jean Stitch thread. When did I do that? Was it last week, you guys? Oh, I did. Did I? No, I can't remember. It's too many shows. I'm losing it. I'm getting loopy. Oh, loopy Clare is time consuming. I need to find my machine's snap-on adapter. It's not on the machine. Is it in my cubby? Oh, come on. I did a bunch of photo shoot. I took a bunch of pictures and it gets really chaotic. Did I put it in here? That would be really wise. I did not put it in there. Don't worry, I have more than one of them. I just need to find one of them at least. There it is. I found it. Here we go. Honestly, I must have been free motioning last. Do you guys forget what you did? It has been a week since I did the show. What project did we do last week? It was double needlework. I know I quilted with a double needle, but did I quilt with the jean stitch thread? I think I did, and it worked really well. Well, this thick thread would normally be a nightmare, but it really performs nice. What a messy table again. You should see what's beyond the edge of my table. I really want to ink something. I need to ink. I need to paint fabric with you guys. Maybe we need to just get together for a in the school Zoom chat and I can ink something. For those of you who are in the school, I know I haven't done one in a long time. I probably should do that. Okay, so I'm going to put the pearls and piping foot on now. I have 3 in here. That's the problem. I have too many. There it is. This is the pearls and piping foot. Not to be confused with any copycats, because all the sewing machine companies copied me, not the other way around. This foot has a little washer that slides left and right. Get all these things out of the way. And it has a uniquely shaped base and front. I don't like getting too far into what makes it unique to everybody's copies, but it is. And what we're going to do is get the foot positioned with the needle. There's no needle. That's because I had a double needle on there. This is a 9014 universal, which is the needle I use the most, is a 9014 size. But I do a lot of very aggressive things with my machine. A lot of other teachers do kind of one kind of thing, but I'm always pushing things to the limit. I got to tighten that snap-on adapter with the screwdriver. And I'm not going to use the needle threader, or did I accidentally do it and it worked? Is this the color that I really want to use? I guess I didn't bring a bunch of it in. I'm trying not to take all the inventory in here. Do I want it for this? I don't want it for this, not yet. So this is a 2-step process. So I'm not going to use this yet. First thing we're going to do is sew cording onto the ribbon using a zigzag stitch. So I'm going back to the purple in case it doesn't really matter because it's not going to be visible from the outside. I came up with this technique when trim companies came out with this trim. Manufacturers of garments do send things to me when they can't figure out how to sew something. Just because a trim manufacturer comes up with an idea doesn't mean it's feasible to be used in a manufacturing setting. And so when it came out, I was had a company call me and they go, "How do you sew this beaded fringe on?" I'm like, "What's beaded fringe?" I hadn't seen it yet. And so I asked them to send me a sample. And when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder you guys are calling me up trying to figure out how to sew this. There's no way they could make any money hand sewing it on. And originally it wasn't on a pretty ribbon. It was on an ugly ribbon, so you had to hide it. One of my stories. Mims, yes, I will be using, and I do have lingerie thread in the bobbin right now. And right now I switched to just a regular 40 weight bobbin or needle thread for the first step of sewing this in. Pearls and Piping Foot's going to sit on the ribbon now. And then we take the cording. And this cording is pretty much going to be wasted inside of the seam. But it's the only way we can accurately and quickly sew beaded fringe onto something. So I'm using a zigzag stitch. I'm going to use a stitch wide enough to go on either side of this. And my goal is to keep this straight on the ribbon because this will determine how well I sew it into the seam. So the width of this is a 2.5 millimeter wide trim. And I'm too far over this way based on the zigzag swing. So I'm taking the foot off and I'm going to slide the washer on the foot to the other side. That moves the trim over and will allow me to sew this closer to this end without having to move my zigzag stitch over, because not all sewing machines can move the zigzag stitch over. And I maybe didn't need to do that. I just have the microphone and everything in my way right now. I can't see. It's because I'm not wearing glasses. Got my glasses. It's really a much shorter stitch length than I need. So I'm going to go longer so it doesn't take as long. And my goal is to keep this ribbon straight. The cording is not up to me. The foot will steer that. All right, so you won't be as challenged as I am because you won't have a microphone and lights and stuff in front of you. This ribbon is really, really flimsy now. It's so old. It's probably best I use this before it becomes too old to use. It's probably silk ribbon. And it is a living organism that is deceased and starts to rot. Be better if they made the ribbon out of a polyester. Does this seem strange? After I came up with this technique, the trim companies started to add cording to the side of big and bulky trims, which allows you to use trims. Where is it? Oh, there. So you could use trims this big. I may show you that one day. You guys want to learn how to use this as a piping on your little home sewing machines? So I came up with tricks for that as well. And I do have more than one, and I do have plans. This will be in the Creative Feet Extensive course inside of my school. So big and bulky and it's kind of weird looking, but oh, wait till you see what you can do with this. As long as you have our feet as well. So I'm going really slow, and it's mostly because I'm trying to see what I'm doing and talking at the same time, and this is starting to pull. So I want to make sure your cording is nothing is getting stuck on anything. And I want my elbows down, but I can't find my bolster. What do I do with it? I've really grown attached to that, and I can't see it. Do you guys see it on the set? This one's short. This was a mess up on the pumpkin, and I'm thinking it might be the right height for my son's wrist. So it'll do. So for those of you who are new to the show, I always sew with my elbows down, and I wasn't, which is making it harder for me to keep my body from rocking, which is what you all experience when you sew. If you don't put your arms down, your upper body kind of moves, and that makes your perspective change with relation to the needle. The number one complaint I have among sewers, because when you join the school, I ask, what is your biggest challenge in sewing? It's almost always sewing straight. And a lot of that has to do with your body swaying as you sit on a chair that locks you to the planet. And your sewing machine is locked to the table, and your table is on the earth. So your upper body from the hips up, it's wobbly. And that is what makes you not sew straight. It's probably the biggest reason people have trouble sewing straight in any scenario, doing anything. So elbows down, shoulders relaxed, and get to where you're, see the microphone's right here. I really would be sitting this far. So I'm sitting further away than I normally would as well. You always want to be posturally correct so that you're not hurting yourself and that you can sit in one spot for a long period of time without using the upper body muscles, because you get cramps in between your shoulder blades from lifting your elbows while doing anything like this, any creative thing. Where is my bolster? Probably fell on the floor and rolled away. Here we go. No zipper foot. The problem with the zipper foot is it wants to push away things. If any of you have ever put a big cording on using a zipper foot and had the foot actually feel as though it was pushing everything away, then you know that you'd be getting your hands in there, pulling, pushing, and then the seam isn't straight. So the pearls and piping foot is the best for that. But I definitely did not need to move to the other side on the washer. That was just me not sitting properly. So now I don't want to change to what I should have done, because it'll change where this is sewing on the ribbon. And what we're looking for is consistency on this part. This is the most important part so that we get it sewn into the seam. And you can see it's got just that cording sitting right on the edge of that. And every once in a while my beads are getting caught on the sewing machine in the front. Notice that I am not holding that cording. It's all about steering the ribbon and keeping these beads from getting stuck on other things without holding back on the ribbon. I'm gonna let the sewing machine feed dogs grab this ribbon, and this ribbon is really, like I said, falling apart. It's starting to decay. The thread will also decay because I don't think they had the knowledge of which thread to use, and they used probably cotton. And that's the problem with a lot of beaded things that are old, antique. The beads start to fall off because they didn't use a nylon or a polyester thread for stringing the beads. So just know that when you make something with these kind of things, it's something that shouldn't be handled a lot. It should just kind of sit there. That's why this is a good choice for these. Also on a lampshade, it'd be good on a lampshade. Something you don't wash or wear or stretch. And there's a lot of tops. They were putting them on tops, and they would only last a couple wearings and all the beads would fall off. Now it's got much more stability, but that's not why I did this. All right. Ugh. And what we're trying for is we're going to sew this to this. So this fabric. Get everything out of the way so nothing hinders the movement. All right. They're a little bit wonky to work with as they flip around and stuff. And I'm evaluating because I can hear Amy thinking, should we use liquid-based to put that down first? It wouldn't be a bad idea, so I am going to do it. Am I right, Amy? Were you the one wondering? Oh, holy cow. It was because of the cording being that thick, huh? Yep. Sorry, something was stuck to my finger. So little dots. Notice I'm doing it on the back fabric. Slide your finger down. It would not hurt to get your clips out, simply because it's all heavy. These are the clips that we carry at Creative Feet. These are the larger clips, easier on your hand, and they have 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch marks on here to help you line things up better. Now I'm going to use the foot to hold that while I glue the rest. So we slide to make it a solid line. And the idea is to not push down really hard on this, like where I put the foot down and how hard I put it down. It may have pushed the glue into the fabric. And remember, this is not really glue. It's water-soluble stabilizer in a bottle that's wet. Now I'm going to move it up. Chase hair. I'm starting to really get to know you guys week after week. Now this is interesting. Notice that I'm moving my left hand and holding my glue hand in one spot. So that used less muscles and it was more accurate in the glue line that I created. I'm going to leave that without sliding my finger down it, but gently, very gently pushing the ribbon down. Just kind of see if we get a bad result so you can see why I generally always do that. Slide the glue across first. All this for a potted plant. I'm sure some of you are thinking of other uses that you could use this for. I think it'd be great. Yeah, boho stuff. A boho lampshade. I actually have a lampshade that needs something done to it. And I saved this lamp for quite a while. It's just plain white. And I thought I should do something really fun with this lamp for you guys. What else could we use this for? I was also thinking about making a meditation pillow design because my lower back hurts when I meditate sometimes. Kind of cuts the meditation short if you're not feeling good when doing it. What just fell on me? Could swear someone just tapped me. Put a special plant in that pot. Yeah, the plant has got to be something nice to compete with this, huh? Where did your mind go, Mims? What kind of plant would you guys recommend goes in this pot? I brought in all my outdoor flowers. Not all of them, but most of them. So my dining area is just a bunch of flowers. And I got my hibiscus are blooming still in my kitchen area. The first hibiscus that were allowed to bloom fully because the birds in the yard were eating all the hibiscus buds. So they never even got to bloom. And I'm really guessing that it was a bird. There's a small pot on the ground. Have you guys ever had hibiscus in your yard and had them just be eaten by something? So now should I glue the next piece of fabric down as well? And I probably should, but I'm not going to. Maybe I should. Do I have to? As long as the ribbon is held in place and it's not going to move on that, well, then I can use that as a guide for where to position this folded edge. And this is the raw edge on this side. So I'm going to have the folded edge line up right along the top of those beads. And the ribbon and the cording are going to disappear. This would be a time when you could use a double needle and do 2 rows of stitching. But I'm going to use the denim or the jean stitch thread. Here's the philosophy on this. If you glue this down, you don't have to worry about it moving. So that means you're not going to sew it wrong. But it's live and it takes me a while to glue. So here it came apart in a couple places. Probably more because I didn't wait for it to dry before moving it and it fell off the machine. So I'm just going to knot. I'm not going to glue it because it didn't hold anyway. Now what I'm going for is trying to get my foot to feel the cording. We're basically going to be doing this. And I want my needle over to the side. So I'm going to move the foot this time. Put it back. Put that washer back to the other side. That gives me more needle positions to choose from. And honestly, I'm going to use the denim thread, or I would use a double needle. It would be cool. I was about to change the double needle. What I'm changing to is the denim thread. This thick thread. So to give you an idea how much thicker it is than 40 weight. Makes the 40 weight look like Invisafill thread. This may make it easier for you to see. 40 weight versus the jean stitch thread. Can you see how much thicker that is? 90-14 needle at least for this thread. 80-12 needle would shred it all up. This is the thread I just removed from my machine, so you can see that it is 40 weight. That I'm not just teasing you. This is like the whole bud. It's snipped off, like something just chopped it off, like a rodent came up and had it for breakfast. My dogs, maybe. I don't know. But I make hibiscus tea, and I love hibiscus tea. Do you guys like hibiscus tea? I have this flower now. One of them has died, and I'm like, can I just throw it in my tea? Have any of you ever made your own hibiscus tea from hibiscus flowers? I gotta get these needle threaders in. They're in my cart on my distributor. But I have other things to add to the cart. And then we will have this wonderful needle threader in so that you can thread these thicker threads without damaging your machine's needle threader. The foot, I love this question. It's one of my things. Let's see here. So when you ask that question, does the foot feel the cording? Well, it is not an emotional living being. It is an inanimate object. However, it does kind of seem to do that. It has a uniquely shaped tunnel to all of the other copies of my foot that makes it, no matter how small or how big the trim, it slides up higher in the tunnel, and the foot holds it in place on the left and the right hand side so that it guides. If the trim is stuck down on the fabric first, you can let go and have it sew and walk away, and it'll sew it perfectly. It's quite something. So this is the needle threader that allows you to use thicker threads. Sorry, I need to put my glasses on. I love hibiscus iced tea, and in the summer I buy that and I make pictures of it. Get in there. So it's just a tiny little hook. Last week I hooked my thumb. So it's a sharp little hook on there. And on this end, you put a needle in there to help you hold the needle when putting it up. I like products that help you work through physical challenges. So if you have any physical or visual challenge, let me know if you have any problems finding anything that you need. So the glue held. It's just in a couple spots it didn't. Every time I handle this stuff, it reminds me of the day that first time ever touching it. And thinking, oh boy, I gotta figure out how they can sew this. You know what I need to do is I should have kept this longer so I could see that it's in the tunnel. This is really thick fabric because I made it thicker. On thinner fabric, this would be easier. Now the goal is keep all these beads from finding their way in and under, and making sure that this fabric is straight, that I don't let it sway over. So it would be good to use the glue, but I'm not going to do that right now because we don't have time. And I have my needle over, and the cord is on the edge of this. I'm going to secure it. I'm going to use a longer stitch length because thicker fabric, a longer stitch length works better. It's not doing well. Let's see. I don't know if I brought my bobbin thread up or not. Get under there. Ugh. This is live TV, no editing. You get to see me struggle. If I struggle, I can't remember what I did. I think I went down a whole stitch tension. I went down a whole tension setting when I used this thread. This is only like my third time using it. And I actually quilted with this. I remember doing that now. It's like a blur, but it was like so exciting that it quilted so well. See if I can find the piece I quilted with it so I can prove it. Otherwise, I dreamt I did it and I need to do it. This would be a time to release the pressure on the foot to a lighter pressure whenever you're working with thicker fabrics and stuff. I go 4 inches in front and plant my finger. Keep my eye focused on my finger so that the fabric, because it'll hold for that 4 inches of time. So now I'm going to come 4 inches up again, and I'm going to peek under there and make sure that the ribbon is on the edge of this fabric and that none of these beads have flipped over. And once I know that is for sure, line it up again and plant my finger. Remember, this fabric has lost all of its bias because of the fusing of the two layers together. It makes it behave similarly to the upholstery fabric, even though it is not upholstery fabric. So now you can see where this part wasn't glued. And you know what this was? This is where I didn't slide my finger. There you go. Proof why sliding your finger over it is definitely better. And if you wonder if you can use it wet, you absolutely can. Yeah, this is the folded edge mims. This is the raw edge right here. It's got some fray on that. And then this is the folded edge. So definitely slide your finger. This bottle's almost gone. I've even dripped it down the needle at a show so people could see that it doesn't harm anything. But I'm not going to do that right now. Not with this thread, it's too thick. 4 inches up, hold your finger down. And even though that's not dry, it will at least keep it from shifting as I sew. And I think I have one more section here where it didn't hold. Here we go. If you do it on if you glue on a flat table, you won't have this issue. I glued on my sewing machine, so it fell off the side. Welcome, Veronica. Hey, Veronica, do you know if I can use a hibiscus flower for anything besides tea? And if I use it in my tea, do I just throw it in my water? Because I have some hibiscus flowers growing, and the animals or birds or something was snipping off the whole flower before it ever got to bloom. Taking the clip out, 4 inches down, plant my finger. Stitch length is 3.5 millimeters stitch length. Thread tension is 1 number less than my machine normally sews at, which is normally at a 4, so it's at 3.0 tension setting. And that is because the thread is so thick that it's going to go slower through the needle. The glue held here. So you can see how simple it is once you have that cording on there. And everything is glued down there. There's nothing that can go wrong. So you can go faster. Prep time is longer, but sewing time is faster. No risk of breaking those beads with the needle. And it's a very impressive project to do for someone. They'll be like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? But if I used a double needle, maybe one stitch on one side of the cording and another stitch on the other side of the cording, it would be even more attractive. I just take too long to... Why aren't you going backwards? Oh, I'm not pushing the right button. Why isn't it reversing? Because you're pushing the needle down button. That's it? Just hibiscus flowers and hot water? Ooh, you should not cut that jean stitch thread with your machine's thread cutter either. Isn't that like romantic? Oh, you know what? You know what we can use this for? Shower curtains. Yeah, really fancy shower curtains. Pretty sure that would be a good option for it. Oh, the top of a skirt? A belly dancer skirt. All this for a pot. We have to dart this. Do any of you not like darts? There are other ways of darting things. Not to be confused with darting this way or that way, but removing fabric or carving into fabric to make it fit, to make it form fit. And the fact that it's wider at the top and narrower at the bottom means that we have to make it fit somehow. This is a lot bigger than I needed because I would rather take away than not have enough. Still have to add the vinyl lining. I got so much extra, I could do something with the extra. All right, that's it. I'm done. Oh, the top of boots. Can make boot toppers. Gosh, I want to just take this down and make them into boot toppers. Do you guys like that idea? You could just sew this under on here. And then you just slide it in on the top of your boot, and the bottom would come down a little bit, but it would look like it's part of the boot. That's all I'm going to do because I want to use it for something else. I'm just kidding. That would be so rude of me, wouldn't it? I'm getting sassy. It's been 2 hours, 19 minutes. How many patterns have I designed in 2 hours? Much easier to feel or to see that you got the right size than to do the math and measure when you're tired. All the way down like that. So that will definitely fit, and we've got, so now I'm going to cut this to here. And this is when you look at those beads and go, I'm not going to have a back stitch right there. This end staggers over. I need to be doubly sure. Only get one chance. Robin, that's funny. We don't want anyone hitting the floor or hitting the pavement. I did that before. Broke my shoulder, never really fully recovered from that. We are all going to stay upright on the planet. But this would be up high on the boot, you know, not low boots. I'm probably going to have to do something like that now because I really kind of like that look. I feel like I should make something that I wear out on the town with that. So I want some of the pot, some of the brown showing on the top, and some of it's going to go into the pot. It's such a little pot. It's so short. I feel like I should go get another pot because the beads are so long. And I have the fabric, so I could make it bigger. But what do I have out there? I don't know. It's pretty, huh? You guys like it? I'm done. All right, so that is 1 inch folded over. The whole room smells like rosemary. Now time for the presser. Which color should I use today? All right, so what I'm going for is I want to have a crease be 1 inch or so, like right about there. I want to fold it so it has a nice crisp fold. It would be a lot easier to do it now than after the vinyl's on there. Still got to line this with vinyl. It's very pretty looking, isn't it? This is when you should use your ruler. I'll take 1.5 inches. Shouldn't have creased it till I got my ruler out, or my measuring tape out. I'm trying to remember the trick I did on Christmas stocking. It's kind of a similar thing. Stocking is bigger at the top than it is at the bottom. Be another good time to use the clips. Measure 1.5 inches. Clip it right there. Because even though this doesn't have bias, it's still, once you crease it, it has a really nice crease on it. You don't put expensive beads on something you don't measure and make everything nice and crisp. I love this. Just trying to think if I have a bigger pot. I really didn't think I liked the beads that much, like in my living room, but now I'm thinking I'm going to really like this in my living room. That's when you know you've got a good gift, when it's something you actually want. All right, so that is the nice. I don't have to use the iron for this. Just, it's all folded. This looks wrong here. Definitely grew there. Gotta love your presser. All right. Nice and crisp. And remember, I didn't even really cut this measuring it. Did I? Did I use a rotary cutter? I don't know if I did. Oh, I see what you're saying. Just make your own pot. Oh, you're being sarcastic. I forgot. Amy's really good at that. It'd take less time to make a pot, glaze it, and fire it than it would to sew it. Is that what you're saying, Amy? I have lots of pots. I'm always trying to think of ways that you guys can have fun with sewing. I keep thinking there's something that we could use this for, like a trash can cover. How's that? Cylinder shapes that are not the same shape on the bottom as they are on the top is similar to the bowl cozy concept. And on the bowl cozies, we had darts. We have to sew those darts and take into consideration the lining as well. And this lining is now too short because it is. I think everybody has seen Amy get a little sarcastic in a cute way. See, I'm telling you, shower curtain. This would make a nice shower curtain. Very, very rich. And this could be your lining. And you have made yourself a designer shower curtain to dress up your bathroom. be a pricey shower curtain even if you made it yourself, but the dart thing with the double needle, yeah, this is too heavy fabric for that. And the beads make it, if you do too much to it, then it'll just look like you overdid it. Keep it simple. We can't keep it simple because the beads are already very dramatic. So anything we do besides just adding an extra fabric color can make it look like too much. This person, or my son used to say, it looks like an artist threw up all over it. I'll never forget when he said that to me. It was such a compliment. But it was very profound coming out of his mouth. Remember, I'm trying to also keep the fabric in the pot. So my brain is also considering that. Gotta sew the darts before we finish the lining. But I want the lining to be sewn in at this point, I believe. And I gotta turn it right side out kind of thing. With beads. Come on, brain, kick in. I hate to do this to you, but I gotta step away. I'm going longer than I normally do, and I'll leave you with a little music. Get ready, because the music's going to be louder than my voice. Don't get scared, you guys. I'll be right back. Thought you might like to see my latest painting. little sea turtle that I did. Would you guys like it if I had that printed on fabric so we could quilt on it? Oh yeah, water. Oh, you guys are busting a gut while I'm gone, huh? Aw, Mims had to go. She was chatty. You guys have to make up for it. So, my latest. I had fun. Oh, now where do I put it? I shouldn't have brought it in here. Okay. All right, so I kind of have to turn this inside out. And mainly I want to sew the lining on now so I don't forget to sew the lining on. So I'm going to just sew across the top of this. But I'm thinking I want it to be kind of sticky to the pot. So I think I'm going to do something odd. Wish I was more awake. Should have finished that coffee. Yeah, okay. I figured it out. Pretty sure. Usually I'd use the Satinedge Foot for this, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave the pearls and piping foot on. And should I do that? Probably not. Satinedge Foot keeps you sewing straight, and I definitely don't need the denim or the jean stitch thread anymore. Still thinking. The design process. I don't like ripping thread out, and I especially don't like doing it on vinyl, because if you do it on vinyl, well, now you have holes, and that just takes away the entire purpose of using vinyl, which is to prevent water from escaping. But if the top goes over the pot and inside the pot, and it doesn't have vinyl at the very top, right here, facing out, well, the water's going to get on the fabric. We still want to see the fabric, but we want it to be waterproof. And then we want it to be waterproof all the way inside and past that. So in order to achieve that, I need to sew it on the fold to that and then bring it out. Does that make sense? But I certainly don't need to waste all of that vinyl. I'm trying to make sense of this on how to get my seam allowance to be accurate when all I have is a fold to go by, because I'm not going to sew all the way to the end. This would be a time to get some washi tape out. And that is what I'm going to do. Where are you? I already had it out. All right. I'm hungry, but I have this drink next to me that I just need to take. I need to just kind of bring the needle down. I don't have the foot on right now. I'm going to put the foot on because it might confuse you guys. Might confuse me. And this would be a time to use a chalk liner. Dark fabric. I gotta remember to change this thread too. It's a waste to use this thread. So this is what I'm going to be doing, is lining up the Satinedge guide with the fold and have my needle be in the proper position for the needle to be right on that line. Except for the lining is going to be over it, so I won't be able to see it. But just to give you an idea, this is a special soap pen that lets you draw. So you would want to draw on dark fabric so that you can see where you are. Once you know that your needle is coming down on that white line, bring the needle down, and then you turn the nut, moving the guide over to the needle. Now, instead of watching the needle, you watch the white part of the guide and make sure that that line stays along there. I just dropped my glasses. There's something about this shirt. Keep knocking things over. So this is kind of a waste, but I'm just showing you that that's what I would do. So this is how you can determine the correct seam allowance. And now we're going to go old school and take a piece of tape. And that's only good if you cut your fabric straight, which I didn't. I did not do that. I can't go by that, but this is what I would do if I did, if I had cut the fabric straight. Then you watch over here, and the needle would just stay in that line on that crease. If you're like me and you sewed sloppy, I have to come up with another solution to this. I can see through it though. I can see the white line through it. So that's good. And this is what I'm trying to do, because then I'm going to flip it over and the seam will be right there. Alright, so I am going to do the line. I am going to draw the line. Hi Clare Moore. Nice to have another Clare in the room. I remember when there were barely any Clares on the planet. At least not in the United States. And now there's so many little girls being called Clare. Alright, so all I'm doing is that boring part of drawing the line on the crease. I'm not doing a good job. Needle up. I need my glasses and I dropped them on the ground. I have another pair. So this is a fabric show. This is Fabrically Speaking, Tina. On my Beyond the Brushstrokes channel, which will be opening soon, that's where I'll do more craft and art, paintbrush type stuff. Trying to keep everybody happy and separated, but those of you who cross over into arts and crafts and sewing and quilting and fiber art, it's just going to be too much if I put all of it in one channel. So this is Fabrically Speaking Live. This is one show in my channel for sewing. The other channel, it'll be a whole channel on art, where I can let my artist out. And I'll be teaching you stuff like painting that sea turtle. I didn't film that because I'm trying to figure out, do I want to do a whole nother set for the art, or can I incorporate it in here? Trying to figure it out still. Okay, I got the jean stitch thread off because I don't need that anymore. But I do need thread. So I'll just go back. I'll just use this purple. No, I won't. I got a black. Good. It's 40 weight, which is good. Nice and strong. Strong enough. Did you guys tell me what's on your sewing table yet? I still hear the sounds of angels sing every time my threader threads my needle for me. Ta-da! So exciting. I like you guys joking around. What'd you retract? I didn't get to see it. So for those of you who want to see how poorly I cut my fabric beneath, watch the tape and the edge of the fabric. But I'll be watching the line and making sure my guide on the foot is lined up with it. Oh, I forgot. Didn't switch cameras. Oops. So if you want to watch and see how crooked I cut this fabric, remember I just folded it in half and I never shirred it up. And what I'm trying to do is have this be 1/4 inch past the white line. And that's in essence sewing a 1/4 inch seam allowance with a see-through fabric on top. Once again, I'm going down about 4 inches, put my finger down, watching the front guide, making sure it sits right next to that white line. I need my glasses. There's no way a pot would ever be turned and fired and everything in the time I'm doing this. No way. I happen to have pottery experience. I miss doing pottery. Actually, I never turned a pot. I did sculpture. Sculpted a lion and some other things. I actually won a scholarship in 9th grade to Cal State Northridge for sculpture. Feels like so far away, so long ago. In another life. On sewing table, a quilt for baby called A Child's Prayer. Oh. Have any of you exchanged phone numbers yet? You guys hang out every Thursday. So you see how the foot's not sticking to the vinyl? That's because this vinyl is not sticky. If you've ever handled vinyl before and it was really sticky, it's because it was sticky vinyl. There's a whole bunch of different kinds, and this is specific for working with the sewing machine needle. And the foot, not causing it to stop feeding. So that's why it's just feeding right through, even though it's vinyl. And I did not do a very good job of sewing straight because I got distracted by things like you guys chatting. Should look what you're doing. I forget what I'm doing because sometimes you can stop watching with the Satinedge Foot. Not too bad. So now I'm opening it up. Okay, so open it up and there, so the vinyl is going to be right along that fold. See what I mean? And now it's lined in here, and it's still, you still get to see some of the brown color right along the inside of the pot. Except I want to do this. This is what I couldn't verbalize before. Where is it? There it is. because this is going to go like that. And if vinyl is on the inside when it comes over the pot, it's more likely to stay than the fabric. Maybe not. This vinyl's so slippery. Theoretically, I think this is the best thing to do though, because it's going to prevent moisture from getting where you don't want it. So I'm thinking I might want to do a top stitch or an edge stitch right along there to keep it folded down, so it won't just go and flip open. Do you guys agree? You need to share pictures now, Amy, in the school. I want to see one of your pots. Share pictures. And I know that you've been sharing pictures. I appreciate it. It's amazing how easily I can read my phone with these glasses on. Okay, so I am going to do that edge stitch. When is it an edge stitch and when is it a top stitch? Both are done by sewing close to the edge. And I really want do I want that under first? I think I do. Do I ever do things that are quick and easy? Have I? Have I ever? It's a little fuse and fuse, not where it should be. That's what we want. Now just maintaining it all the way down. I think I'm going to have to use some clips. So see what I'm doing? I'm opening it up. And then I got to fold it down to this seam right here. I don't remember gluing the vinyl to that, did I? Can't. Sometimes you can see with your glasses, sometimes you can't. I'm trying not to do an extra line of stitching, but I feel like I'm going to have to. Yeah, I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to. If we do it this way, that is what I need to do. That's not hard at all. I just don't, oh, that's the chalk. I'm like, what is that? So we're gonna edge stitch or top stitch. Okay, so now I'm going to stitch right next to this. This time I want my stitch to be on the vinyl. I think I got it. Nothing like designing on the go. Trying not to go, oh no. I have had to do that before, haven't I? I love the feeling of clay. It's wonderful. totally understand where you're coming from. So we can move our needle over, or I could move the guide over. I decided to move the needle over. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to be doing a top stitch right along the edge of that vinyl. Go back first. It's still not cut to the length. It's almost to the length. Now the guide up and under here, kind of just push toward it. I went too far off. And there's a spot on these glasses where I can see and then I can't see. It's vinyl on the top and the bottom, so I'm going to increase stitch length a little to help it. Where am I looking? Right here on the inside of the guide. Trying to make sure I'm not pulling on this fabric because, well, that's going to change everything. And here I didn't press it yet, so you want to make sure it's pressed flat. You know, once you get this down, you could do this relatively quick. With a pattern already made for you, this won't be that hard. This would be a really upscale thing to sell on an Etsy store if you're making money from your sewing. Uh-oh, it's not feeding right. What did I do? It's probably because I didn't cut everything straight. If only I didn't have a microphone and a light right in front of my eyes. I pulled, I guess. Don't be pulling, because then you get pulling. The sound this sewing machine makes sounds so tired and old. I think I folded my fabric. Whoopsie. Oh gosh, I can't see. This is going to be the inside of the pot, so, but it shouldn't be doing this. It shouldn't be stretching. This is something I did. Fabric handling. The fabric fold. Cut your fabric straight. Bummer. I like perfect. It's so much better. Definitely not sticking. It's slipping more than sticking. Ugh. Just so you guys can see, it's these things in front of me. And that's so you can see. So I'm going to move it just so I can kind of finish. Oh, I'm way up on it. I was writing on the vinyl instead of off it just because I couldn't see. Oh well. It's going to be inside the pot. Whoopsie. I did it again. That's because I stopped looking where I was supposed to. I think I had the foot pressure too low. Oh well, I'm not perfect. Darn it. I keep trying to be. I'm 58 now, so still not perfect. Okay. All that just so we could fold it under and have it be vinyl on both sides of that flap. Now for the sizing and figuring out the pleats so that at the bottom it fits this circle. What time is it? Oh, 3 hours in. Still want to use it on a bigger pot, like this one's taller. Except for that is not the right kind of pot. I feel like I almost have enough to make 2 pots. Be cool if it was that big of a pot and I didn't have to waste any of this fabric. Quit messing around, Claire. I do feel like I'm having some kind of reaction to that. Maybe the oils from the rosemary got on my fingers. Hard to imagine it fitting this. I can hear myself afterward. Just have to think it through. First off, it's too big for that one, but it may not be too big for this one. Can always start with a basting running stitch to see how baggy it is. Or just clip it. I need to shore this up a little. I have a song stuck in my head. Any day now, and it's because of better days. So any day. It reminds me of that. I often wonder what people that don't know me think when they come into the live. It's like, who is this person? Why isn't she ready with 6 different pieces already cut out? This is very strange. Before cutting, I gotta open it up. I gotta do a pattern for this. Jeez. I must really love you guys. This is when I gotta show this on the top. Snap a picture. Can I do that? I think I can. I think I can take a screenshot. Right on. Screenshot. Another screenshot. So this is what we need to consider before we cut. We have to secure the end of this. I may have to lose a whole strand of beads, which definitely will. But I want to end it so that I can cut across there, cut this row of beads off, and I have a comfort zone of a seam allowance to go along. So that's why I'm hesitant to cut first before trying it on the pot. That sounded funny. I'm too far from the mic, sorry. And this has to be able to fold over the top of the pot. It's really kind of a funny thing to say so many times in one day, the word pot. Looks like it's a good top size. Okay. So now I'm going to actually stitch down all the way down. And then we will figure out the darts that we need. It's definitely a time to tuck in the beads that we don't need. And I already determined I need to lose this strand. So I need to lose this strand. And where does that one fall? So we pull this one out. Because we don't want to have a big gap on one side if we can avoid it. Looks like that's going to be it. So I'm going to cut this strand off. I want to tuck all those other beads in there. This is a time you don't want to use pins because you'll poke holes in your vinyl. But I want a pin right now really bad. And it's easier for me to push from left to right. I would have done a better job on that top stitch had I done that. I need to think this through. What's this seam going to be like? We're sewing right sides together. Okay. Once again, spreading those beads apart. Not cutting that other side of strand until I know for sure that I can cut it off there. I'm moving this guide a 1/4 inch away, left needle position. And now I have a 1/4 inch seam allowance there. So a couple stitches forward, then go back. And I usually start on the fabric, then go back. Rather than starting off and trying to go on, it's a stronger beginning when you do that. This vinyl should be cut the same. Because the vinyl can actually make the foot not so 1/4 inch seam allowance. Because this foot kind of almost seems like it feels things as well. What do you agree about? Last thing I want to do is have a bead get in there. This is where it's going to be a little challenging because these beads are going to want to hit the guide. Kind of like climbing over rocks at the beach. You might have to stop and lift and maneuver for a stitch. Can always go back and do another row stitching after we've determined that we can cut this section off. longer stitch length. My stitch length dropped down shorter. Forgot I changed stitch. I'm like, why isn't it feeding the same? And that's why computerized sewing machines default back to the machine setting. My arm's getting sore because my elbow is raised. I don't know where my little thingy is. You guys are lovable. Okay, we try it on inside out or outside in or whatever which way this is first. As long as it's just slightly bigger than the diameter, then I know I can cut this. Never know, I might use this section that I'm cutting off for something one day. If nothing else, I'll pull it out and go. This was a lesson on a few weeks ago on, I should write episode 44, season 2 on it. Ooh, can you imagine designing a sewing machine cover for your living room if you're one of the people that has to sew with a sewing machine in your living room? That would be fancy schmancy. All right, now we have to size this to the length, and I really wanted a bigger pot. I gotta just accept this. So this is the height of it. Because I did a top stitch to here. To chop off the bottom. I'm not going to do it all at once. Kind of like getting your hair cut when you had your hair long for a really long time and then you decide to cut it off. I used to cut a lot of people's hair and I wouldn't let them, they would go, just chop it off to here. And I go, nope. I'll cut it to here first and I'll go here. And then, okay, you can take a little more off. You can never uncut that. You could always add another row of fabric. Rotary cutter. It's getting there. I could guess right off the bat. Maybe this fabric has some fuzz on it. It really reminds me of batting. It's my little circle. And if I remember correctly, it's 1/2 like that. I think I'm going to go ahead and, oh, it's vinyl. I'm just going to turn it right side out. I'm trying not to handle it too much because I don't want the beads to break off. So normally I would do a dart. I would just go, okay, measure it around and then subtract how much I need to take away and then divide it evenly. And then if it didn't work, I'd remove the stitch and then do it again. All right. Goodness gracious. I think it might be my hair. Got a little disheveled. Okay. Can do reverse darts. Still have to take off some of the bottom. I know there's an easy way to do this, you guys. I apologize for not having my brain screwed on today. And mathematically, we need to lose however much smaller this is than this is. So this is it's almost 14 inches long because it's got to go all the way around. So it's 11 and a half. I just made something like this not that long ago too, and I'm like, I need to remember how I did that. What was I making? I don't remember. So I'm going to carve away. I'm going to do 4 darts, but I really need to just commit to chopping more of this off. Dropping down, I'm not going to go past the where it starts to drop down. So just like 2 inches down from that stitching line. I'm not going to have the dart go past that. My hair is static. It's the vinyl. That's what's doing it. Vinyl does that to me. Forgot. It makes everything get staticky. Okay, so a few stitches, and I'm going to have it come down to, this is where, kind of like what we do when we do the bowl cozies. You would mark your fabric and then decide how far over you're going to go. And I'm going to go 1 inch, and then you just draw a connecting line. And I'm going to follow that same rule on all the darts. I'm going to do 2, one on one side, one on the other, and then we carve into it again if we need to. My guide's way out there. Needle down. I'm looking at the needle this time because I don't have the guide lined up. So just kind of show you and lower the needle. Now, I was feeling the need to go that slow because of that. So foot up. Okay. I think my pressure is way too loose. What do I have it on? Nothing. I had it on the lightest possible pressure. Can't remember what I was doing. So that was just too low. And it was slipping. So halfway. Cool, you still can't see the mic. And I can see. I don't even remember where this is set, how this is set up. See how now it's taking it fine? Proper pressure works great. Oh my goodness. I'm not all the way to the max pressure, but I'm only 1 number less than it. I'm going to go further up in case I need to cut that much off. Got to remember those beads are dangling down in here. And I went how far down? 2 inches down. Two inches from what? I love working with vinyl. I really do. I forget how it makes me tickle. This would be kind of good for an outside pot too, you know, because the vinyl, you can have it be on the outside and still see the fabric through it. Am I this side of the guide or that side of the guide? I can't see. It's a good thing I designed a foot that helps you see, because okay, so a couple stitches forward and then go back. Watching the guide, keeping the line right up against, or keeping the guide so that I can see the line right next to it. And then I know my needle is on that line. Making sure those beads are not causing it to not sew straight. Good old darts. My hair grows really fast as well, Amy. I'm very grateful for that. So now, while I really don't want to have to do this because I'm risking those beads every time I do this, I really need to turn it right side out again. Every time I do this, I'm thinking, what else? This reminds me of something so much. If I can just remember what my brain is trying to remember, I may need to do a little dart on this flap as well to make it tight. Definitely need to do some darts in this. Or maybe a string of elastic around it. Yeah, I was right. 2 more darts. I picked a pot that was shorter than the plant. I'm like, if I make it taller, then I can stick it up higher. There's dirt all over my table. I think I'm going to do that so it's taller. I'm going to make something with rosemary tonight. It smells so good. Can you guys smell it? Yeah, I'm going to do that because this way I can use it for other things. That's what's going on. My hair is going and sticking to my face from the vinyl electricity. Wow. The aromatic smell of rosemary. It's right up there with basil. I don't know why I'm trying to do that. That's not working. That's a good sign that it's not working. If you leave the top loose, then you can adjust its height. As long as you don't make this too short. Hi, Chase. Hello, do you need love? He's like, you gone past the time. It's time for you to stop. It's time for you to stop. I know. I know. Just a little bit more. I'm almost done. I swear. I'm almost done. I promise. This would be a cute hat for you, huh? Boogie, go on. Get. A few minutes and then it'll be Tinkerbell's turn to try to manipulate me. Could make a raincoat for the dogs with a vinyl lining. So they still look cute on the outside and they're, or maybe the other way around. Should I do that? A little raincoat for dogs this year? Did the little sweater last year. There better be someone still in the room. Hopefully the math is going to work out perfect, because I really didn't think it through, and it does need to be the right size or it just won't fit that circle. Do any of you know the math? You can just write it in there. I'm so glad you like it, Iris. So we're 2 inches down and 1 inch in. I still haven't cut it to length because I'm trying to keep it as long as possible so it fits more than one pot. Static electricity. And this is just like the bowl cozy concept, except for much deeper. I'm going to sew this side first, then sew the other. Hi, Sharon. Welcome. We're making a pot cover for plants for Christmas ideas. So you can give someone a plant and give them a pretty cover. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so today. I also have a free online school at create.clarerowley.com. If you're catching this and it is not November 18th of 2021, you're catching it on the replay. This is season 44 of, no it's not, season 2, episode 44. Of Fabrically Speaking Live, which is my playlist made up of live videos. So you're watching me live, but you may not be watching me live. Meaning that there was no editing done to this video. So if there were any errors or any mistakes or any, I didn't draw the line. See, I almost made a mistake. I was like, why am I having trouble navigating this dart? So if you've ever watched a video and it went really fast and the person never has any issues like things getting caught on the side, stopping things from feeding, they edit out that stuff. They edit out their mistakes so you don't have to see them. This is no editing. each week, Thursdays at 2 o'clock. Now we're going to see if this circle, and this, I don't even have to turn it right side out to know whether or not this is going to fit. If half of this it looks like it might be right, but the liquid base is starting to separate. So I'm going to go around this to keep it from coming apart. I think I remember that it doesn't work for the vinyl. It does so much other things. The crunchy sounding sewing machine. This is the bottom, so it really doesn't matter if it has another stitch under there. Most people will not be flipping up the pot and looking at the bottom. I definitely feel like I got maybe some rosemary oil on my skin. It's a little hot. I love it when I have no idea what I'm going to show you and then it all comes together. I'm starting to not even worry. If I don't know what I'm doing, it's like, it's all right. We'll figure it out together. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be either probably cutting this down a little bit. But I don't want to do that until I know for sure this circle is going to fit. I could do it on 2. The 2 that we'll definitely be getting rid of. And just cut the point out so that I can lay. I don't want to have all that bulk when I come back around. This would have opened if it weren't a seam, but the rest of the darts are folds, so it's basically the same thing. So I basically want to cut it more. We're trying to keep this watertight, Claire. Shouldn't have done that. I'd be doing this instead, I guess. Do you see how I did that? So you take the dart and you just kind of push down, and then that flattens it out. I need to use the free arm, don't I, you guys? No? Will that help me? So if we fold it in half, and press, fold it in half and press. I didn't do any math, so this shouldn't even work. Make it a better mark. Now we know we've quartered this circle, and I have 4 seams, so we should be able to line these up and know that we could stitch by going like this to see if you can make it to the next line. And I can't, see? It's too little space between here and there. Is there? It's almost like you gotta sew one. It might be perfect. Wouldn't it be nice if it was perfect? I'm just gonna give it a try. See? Might have to take more dart or sew it in a little more. We'll see. We want to, oh, wrong camera, sorry. So we're going to smush this down. Take that mark and line it up right with that seam. I was going to make a pretty crutch today and I didn't get to it. I need a nap. I think I'm going to go to bed early tonight. sorry I can't really position this for you to see very well. Trying to keep those edges together. Would even be easier if I cut this fabric a little bit on the curve, like an inside curve. There's the seam. Yeah, see the mark is exceeding it, so I'm going to show you what I can do though. Remember, I don't need all 4 darts. I could just cut that fabric on a curve. Is this the one that's cut? It is. Trying to think of how I'm going to write the pattern for this. Just kind of give you the math once I have it figured out. And I know I've already done the math before on something, so it's like making all the pieces fit together. I didn't cut this shorter. I was going to. Everything in me wants this to be a longer pot than it is. And if you feel the need for a walking foot, feel free to use it. But Satinedge Foot, you can see, is doing just fine. I'm using a 5 on the length. That helps it pull through all these thicknesses. This is upholstery fabric with vinyl. I'm probably going to be ripping this out and adjusting it, but I don't want to do it till I examine all the pots and see which one's my best option. And I also want to see if this will fit that pot, even though it's longer, and not be noticeable. So I have more flexibility to use it on different plants. It's kind of like bag making. But we're making a pot cover. Home deck. I do a little pleat on the circle. That would be what you call easing or cheating. Sloppy cheating. Didn't seem like that would fit, did it? It seemed like the circle was too small, and the circle ended up being too big. And I shouldn't be continuing this, but I'm going to end it even and just kind of explain to you that I need to cut it a little more. I'm getting too hungry. It's dinner time, and the dogs would like to eat as well. It's fun though to have finally made this. Something I always wanted to do. I'm telling you, it has a trash can kind of feel. If you have a trash can in your house and you'd like it to look prettier, this is a nice option for that. Yay! I like it. Do you guys like it? Exclamation points. Thank you, Sharon. So this little flippy thing is going to go on the inside of this pot. Put it in there. Come on. There we go. So I made it longer than I should have. And if you put a plant in in something and it doesn't have a flat bottom, that's what you can expect. So I'm going to probably just have to go in there and find a bigger pot. Because I thought the beads were just too close to the table. And until I determine exactly which pot it is, I'm not going to pleat the inside of it. But it will look a lot better if I did pleat the inside as well. Got to get it ready for a photo op. Waterproof, water resistant. Can't say waterproof. But if you were to overfill your pot with water, there's vinyl in there, and because I didn't rip any stitches out, it's pretty close to waterproof. You can also take clear nail polish and or silicone and coat all the seams to make it watertight. I hope that you guys like this as much as I did. I really love it. I didn't think I'd like beads in my living room. I think I'm changing my mind. So, if you like this video, I hope that after the live you will go ahead and smack that like button. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I sure hope you'll do so today. I have a free online school, Create with Clare Rowley, found at create.clarerowley.com. And this would make a neat little cell phone purse cover. But it's watertight, so I'm like, what else could we make this out of this scrap? So let's see. I'm going to see if you guys have any questions real quick. So pretty, I think so too. Beaded fringe. Finally, something I can use beaded fringe for that I really like. And I really need to trim my bangs. Hi, Debbie. I'm sorry I didn't catch it when you showed up. And Iris and Better Days and Sharon Kaysen. I felt like there was more than one Sharon in here today. And Claire, I don't know if you're still in the room. And Tina and Better Days, also known as Amy. Not a brat. Not a brat. That's a great name. I don't know who you are, Not a Brat. And Mimi was fun. She was a real chatter. Debbie, see, I could just keep doing this and repeat your names, and because I'm that hungry and that tired. And with that, I will bid you all adieu. Mwah. I love you so much. See you next Thursday. Will I? Is it the one? Is Thanksgiving this Thursday? I'm that loopy. Remember, I will not be here on Thanksgiving. I will not be live on Thursday, Thanksgiving. So I will see you. Episode 45 is next. See you in the school. Love you. Bye.